off to my right, I heard a whoop that was really short, like a dog bark, but it wasn't a bark. I don't know if you heard that.
So I actually missed it. My mind was somewhere else. So I mentioned, and you just had mentioned, doesn't necessarily mean, because we're trying to figure out what caused the prints. You know what I mean? It's heading up this direction and stuff, where it came from. I just mentioned that it might actually have come across. It might have come from over there, may have jumped over. Something might give us some indication of where it could. Well, I pointed out this rather deep impression, like the back of a hill or something hit right here. There's a couple other deep impressions here. So, and just to, on top of it, just to show additional evidence that this might be something that was something moving quite a bit, and a large jump. The only reason I point that out, if you look over there on the bank on the other side, you'll see a big scratches where something literally looked like it put its foot down, clawed in, and jumped.
I'm zooming in.
You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I see it.
It obviously something. It could have been a mountain lion or something.
I brought Derek today so we can track around and see if we can find more evidence of this creature, and he just noticed where something may very well have leaped. And look at the heel of it. If that is a Bigfoot track, he put all of his weight on the hill where he landed right there.
Yeah, landed one-footed, landed on one, like a left foot, and kept going. And you know, like any other tracker, you kind of backtrack where it came from.
And I'm going to show you guys where we cast the footprint, the better one, real quick. That's where we'd cast it.
I don't know how big your other was, but you got a left foot going. You got this left foot here. You actually have another step right here. Looks like something. There's an impression in the grass right there, just to the left of it. I don't know. It's not perfect by any means, but it actually makes sense. And you see other weird little impressions where that's another foot.
It's smashed. Look at the leaf is totally smashed down into the mud.
That's another. So there's additional evidence that something walked straight up and right out the direction of where those tracks went. So hard to see, but it's distinctly there. Why is it not as deep as over there? Might have been a little sinkhole, a little bubble, something. Mouse.
He may have sunk in right there because he was getting ready to leap to the top of that embankment. Sure. I mean, they move differently than we do.
I don't know, but I just saw about 4 tracks there.
Yeah, and I didn't notice that until you pointed it out. But yeah, it does look like it may have leaped from that embankment. And that's a good 15-foot leap.
It's a 15. That's what I was going to say. 15 to
or more.
18 feet. Closer to about 18 feet.
If that's its heel.
If that's the case, but
the heel like and up to the mid tarsal, that's like a half a footprint right there.
That's what it looks like, though.
That's a good leap.
It's a big leap. I mean, it doesn't exactly make sense unless it was just coming cruising through here and it just literally stepped and just jumped, boom, just on its way going through.
It probably did it second nature. Probably didn't even pause for a second.
Probably walked up, took 2 steps and jumped. Now it makes me want to go over there.
Yeah, good luck on being able to replicate that feat. Yeah, even on a narrow section.
We'd absolutely have to actually come from a different direction to get over there. There's so many other better places to cross this, though. Other than if he's going that direction, that just tells you he don't care about what's in front of them. They're just going to go where they're going to go.
We need to get hip waders for days like these. Oh, look! Did you see the fish? Swim right up into the rocks right there.
Sure enough, I did.
Camera might have caught that too.
That just tells you right there they could walk this creek and just probably hand pull them out.
I saw fish in here the last time I was here too.
And to say you can't walk through here and hand pull up fish out of a creek, you're crazy, because I've done it personally on more than one occasion.
I've pulled fish out of the water too. I've
barehanded.
Yeah, when the carp were
situational.
When the carp were spawning in Howard Slough. Me and some friends chucked a couple dozen of them up on the shore for the fun of it.
Yeah, just to get them out.
And we put them back after we were done. We didn't give a crap. That place isn't known for the trout fish, and people go there to catfish. We did it just for the fun of it, and then put the fish back in. But yeah, we were doing that by hand, and we're clumsy people. God, look at all the moss on the bottom of this. I'm kind of looking to see if it... I mean, this is glassy clear.
It is clear.
Just looking to see if anything stepped in any of this.
Nothing that you could grab.
Got a tape to see if this hill matches up to the one we cast, and it's right around the 6-inch mark at the widest point before it
And that's about the back of the hill.
before it starts to taper to the hill. So
Yeah.
this does, the width matches up in dimension to
You
what
can
we
see how
just
it's
cast.
just cut straight down too. Whatever it was, pretty damn heavy. It left a
It hit
hell of a
hard.
mark.
And all I gotta say is if a moose or an elk jumped right here and hit that hard, it would have left its cloven hoof impression. There would be no mistaking.
It would have looked different. You're 10 inches to where you can't see it no more.
And it looks, you know, it looks like it's not more than a week old. Something else I want to point out, if this was someone's boot, you would see the treads in there. And Derek and I are jumping around, and you know, I weigh 205 pounds, and I'd bust my knee before I could do that type of damage to the... That's nuts. I think you're right. So I think that Bigfoot leaped from there to there and walked up and left that impression that we cast right just before the road.
But we did a cast of this that Kelly and them did.
Crossing the road. Oh look, there's an animal trail. See if we can figure out where he come up the mountainside. If he did, I'm gonna check the animal trail first and see if we can see any evidence of him heading into that.
About 7-8 feet high, and it'll give you the perspective of being 7 or 8 feet high.
Of what a Bigfoot would be seeing when he's looking straight ahead. Derek's got a 360-degree camera up there. Another one of our tactics to change things up and not miss a thing. We hear something parallel on us, behind us, in front of us. We got a camera that will catch it all. Here's a big impression, but yeah, I think we found a Bigfoot track. It's heading the opposite direction. It must have been when it was coming down to the creek. The hill is right here, toes, front.
It's huge.
Yeah. You got your tape measure?
Yeah, I do. It's huge.
Yeah, I was looking for a track going the direction it was going, but it may have come down to the creek and then come back up. And that's it going down right there. This is like the 5th footprint we found in this area. That there's the big toe.
17 to the back of where it interrupted.
See, and it could have slid forward or whatever, or be a different individual. And like I say, the dimensions of the track in the ground doesn't necessarily mean it's the dimensions of the Bigfoot's actual foot. It's just the damage it did to the ground. So
5.5 or so.
Is that before it starts to taper?
No, it's
a good 5.5 inches.
Yeah, it's a good 5.5 inches or so.
And that's just the damage it did to the ground.
From the widest spot here, 8 inches across, 8.5 inches, if not a little bigger.
All right, I want a couple of photographs. Will you get the length of the thing out? And I'm switching over to... Oh, I can take photos while it's filming, I believe. All right, right there. I will hold it for a minute. I'm going to get a couple of photos. Okay, and now the width at the widest part again. Okay. Okay, I got a couple photos. That could very well be the same individual, and it slid forward a little bit when it made that track, or we're looking at a different individual with a bigger track, a longer track. 5.5 inches wide at the where it tapers at the hill. I heard a vocalization just in front of us. Up at the toes, 8 inches wide, and the longest point to the big toe. I just heard a wood knock. All right, we're getting some action. Heard a vocalization off that way. It could very well be a normal animal, but then I heard a wood knock come off from that way. There may be an active group of Bigfoot here, Derek, or active right now.
Tracks, and I mean, you want a highway. This actually looks like a pretty good highway. Look at it.
There's a lot of soft dirt here because of the moles. These moles digging their tunnels and stuff under the ground just makes it a soft place to accept tracks. Yeah, I see a deer track inside of like an old moose track right here. Yeah, look, it smashed that down. The hill comes back this way.
That's easily one of the biggest tracks I think we've ever seen.
This is where the Bigfoot stepped partially on a molehill.
There's got to be more.
Yeah, that piece of sagebrush sprung right back up.
That's 21 inches long. A little over 21 inches.
There might be two individuals here. Yeah. It could have been the one with 17 and the one with the shorter track may have stepped on top of each other.
Go in the same direction that other track was. Here, 7.5 to 8 inches across.
I told you guys when we initially found those that if we spend enough time in an area where we find a Bigfoot track, we usually find another individual. And I'm telling you guys, that other one is more like 15, and this other guy's like 17. I bet you they try to cover up their tracks, so they probably walk in each other's tracks.
It looks like the edge of something else obviously stepped here.
Like a deer or something,
but
yeah.
Right here it looked like, and it looks like they've double stepped going in.
Something that I want to point out to you guys about this track is you can see that it smashed down this little piece of sage, and it smashed it this direction. And breaking down the Patty video, it really high steps. It gets the shin in the back of the leg. Can you see me in the viewfinder, Derek?
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, Patty, she lifts it high, and then it looks like her leg pivots around like that. And I want to show why the creature adapted to do that. It did it right here. Bam! It knocks this to the side and smashes it, steps and goes that way. And instead of tripping over stuff like we do, the way it talks, the way it kicks it out and then swings it back, it's smashing it down and eliminating the trip hazard, and then go on and doing it. And it does it smoothly. Its head doesn't bounce up and down, but we see evidence of where it did it right here and smashed the sage this way that is sprung back up. And when you're examining this, you can see where it damaged the leaves here, knocked some of them off as it smashed it going on this way. This is cool. It's telling a story. I see an impression a little bit there. It's not a...
Yeah, I saw the same impression. Like it was a little step and then side step.
Look at the sapling smashed back there.
Look at the snap. Look how big that snap is.
Okay, and this is... We're going in the direction it came from. That's two of them heading down to the creek, and down at the creek we see where it come up. It's been bugging me. I wanted to come up here when I cast it, but I was up here by myself and it got dark. So come back with Derek, trying to beat the storm.
Something been digging.
Big time digging down into this rotten stump. You can see years ago someone come up and chop some dead ones down for firewood. I mean, we're only 100 yards from a dirt road.
Definitely been digging.
And we do manage our forests in Utah. They'll come up and mark the dead trees, and people know they can come and take those marked trees for firewood. Yeah, something really dug into here. Makes me wonder if it was that Sasquatch. I mean, look at this right here. I do think I see the tips of claws in there.
Oh yeah.
That may have been a badger or a black bear.
A little badger or something. Absolutely could have been a little bear or something, but hard to thought we'd it's got little, it could have been a one-handed right there though.
This is recent.
You could see the old.
Yeah. All right, we found that heading to the snap off over here. We're still watching the ground and around us for any type of Bigfoot evidence, as we don't want to walk over potential tracks or anything. Wind's picking up, that storm's coming in. These aspens, especially these young healthy ones, they lose their leaves first in the fall and gain them last in the spring. And that's one way to avoid something like this happening from snowfall. And look, this other one got like something grabbed it on either side and split it.
Hear that?
Yeah.
You hear that? Here's you guys a different perspective. You're looking at
I can reach
10
up
feet?
I can reach up 6.5 feet.
So you're 9 feet. The perspective of this Insta 360 is as high as I can reach up. It looks like it's a good 9 feet up there.
Not saying Bigfoot did that, but Bigfoot was filmed a couple miles from here. We've found the tracks coming and going from this direction down to the creek.
It's not the only one. There's another snap.
Some people think it's a territorial marker. Look at right here at the snap off, an animal trail goes that way. You think it's marking the trail which direction it wants to go? I wonder if this is pointing this direction. And look, there's some Bigfoot researchers that say the direction it is pointing is usually the direction it wants people to stay. There's a dirt road over there. I mean, a rough, crappy dirt road, but it may be saying, people, you stay there, and on the opposite side is my side. A lot of researchers think that that's what these snap-offs mean. And it being a humanoid individual, it may think that we speak its language, and guess what? We may have figured it out. Territorial marker. And it's breaking about the biggest it can for its strength, to show how big and strong I am. And look, this is in the shadow of a tree that's going to help protect it from the wind. And look, the wind is not going to come on the tree side that's protecting it. The wind would be coming the other direction to snap it. The wind did not snap it that direction from this tree. That's all I'm saying. And Derek's taking us down to another snap off he noticed. This one's older.
Yeah.
That one's this year. That one's fresh. This one may have been previous years. It's starting to
About the exact same height.
and it snapped it potentially the same direction.
That is the same direction, but you got,
And it's got protection from trees, from wind that direction. There's a windbreak. Look how thick the trees are, and they're bigger than this. I want to see, I think this may be a marker to this other animal trail. snapped it at the bottom. Bigfoot has a snapping problem. Look, this was snapped off at some point in time, snapped off. Then again, a moose may have nibbled those off. Look, toes. Another potential track in the area by the snap-offs, and it's pointed. It's pointed the direction I was thinking it made its marker.
You see around this too, and you see here is a little suspect looking.
Kind of where it may have damaged at the heel.
Like where it's right next to it. Yeah, it's actually pointing the exact same direction those others were. Pretty close. I think it's in general direction. You're looking long ways, right?
Yeah.
That shows 18 inches or so.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's been broke up.
And that's not necessarily the true length of its foot. It might be shorter, but that's the damage that it or two individuals could have done.
And it's literally right here at the snap off. It's heading to the tree. It literally is heading to the tree.
Those warning bird calls are too far away to be us.
Yeah, they're a ways away.
We may be driving them back in this way. Guaranteed, anything in the area knows we're here.
Well, something made a god-awful sound. There's no way that camera of yours did not pick that up.
Yeah, I think the god-awful sound, one or both of our cameras got it. The camera is probably picking up this blazed animal trail. The 3-mile trackway north of Minnesota.
That's a well-traveled animal.
It showed that the creature tried to hide its tracks every opportunity through the snow. Derek and I have went and found close to a dozen potential tracks already, and a lot of partial impressions. Smash down spots.
Semi-foot. I mean, there's always impressions. You always come across impressions. You never know exactly what they are. This is smaller. This is smaller.
They don't.
Significantly smaller.
Those mid-tarsal breaks are like having an ankle or a knee close to the center of their foot, and like Albert Ostman, before anyone deemed a mid-tarsal, he talked about a couple of the Bigfoot that were climbing on the front of the mid-tarsal. They kind of use them like a tiptoes, the ball of your foot that acts more like an ankle joint or a knee joint. So they can sometimes leave a half an impression. Derek and I heard a large animal moving through the woods, the direction he's looking. I find another Bigfoot track heading over to Derek. You can see the toes up here. And then it comes back and ends back here somewhere. We see instances where they'll put most or all their weight on the front of their mid-tarsal or at the heel. And then other examples where they leave a full track. Definitely something moving around back there. flying over and the noise of the airplane, it might be more bold and move, thinking it's got that noise for cover. I've been listening to it. I heard it over there. I'm gonna tiptoe to my right and see if I can catch it out in the clearing. Obviously, Kelly's nowhere near as quiet as I It knows we're keyed in on it. It got real quiet and quit moving around, or at least we can't hear the movement anymore. It's so thick back in there. So thick. You can see where the toes, it's heading downhill. Big track. Look, it smashed that log too. I think they've been in the area for a while and have walked back up and down to the creek several times.
I think whatever this is moved off, but I heard a couple real hard thuds.
I think it realized that we're keyed in on it. Derek and I were taking a break and didn't have either camera roll on, and I heard it, and then Derek got his camera on, and I did shortly after that. And you guys might have heard it. We've had cameras recording. It was a lot quieter than the first initial one, but it's a large animal. Whether it's not saying it's a Bigfoot, it could very well be an elk, a moose, or a deer.
Anything, but it was definitely moving around. All right.
Oh, I'm not watching my feet, by the way. I'm looking for it, stepping on stuff. We've scoured the mountain in the direction it was going, and it did not disappoint. Derek and I have found a lot of Bigfoot shaped tracks.
Look at that.
Oh, and another one.
Look at that.
And another one.
See, that one's got a big
mid-tarsal. That's like almost textbook mid-tarsal on that one, Derek.
That's a big.
That's the one
15.
That's the one that we cast.
15, almost 16 inches.
That's the individual we cast his track.
And you're about 6 inches, 5.5, 6 inches on heel. And 7
inches wide where it starts curving around at the toes. That's a big boy. And look how it sinks in. I mean, Derek, lift your foot where you're standing. That foot.
Oh.
The foot I'm filming.
Yeah, that's
look, Derek barely damaged that. How much do you weigh, Derek?
I'm about 210.
All right.
Chunk.
So Derek barely did any damage.
Here, I'm gonna take some steps, and I'll step right where it was.
Right up next to it on the. Okay, that's Derek moving fast and slamming in as hard as he can with 210 pounds. He slammed pretty hard on the soft molehill, and that's his impression. And then you kind of damaged this impression just a tad.
We had it before, though. You get the gist.
We've filmed a bunch of Bigfoot tracks through here, but that thing sunk in like 4 times as deep as Derek.
It definitely did, for sure.
Whatever did that, I am estimating probably weighed close to 400 pounds, if not more, to sink in. And he used his mid-tarsal there. He used his mid-tarsal. If that was someone's boot, it would have smashed that down right there. Yeah.
But that was also me hitting my heel and walking forward.
Sorry, I just got a nervous thing that something was watching us from the same direction that we heard the movement, so I had to flip the camera up that way. It's like knowing we're preoccupied, you know, and may have just taken a peek at us. I just got that vibe Well, if it took a peek, Derek's camera is 360. We have saw over a dozen. Some damage there, which looks like it's just the toe region. Amazing. All right, Derek and I are going to keep scouring the area, see if we can find any more evidence. We see anything else cool, we'll put it in this video. Derek and I are going to keep scouring the area for more evidence and hopefully to get a sighting. So we'll put that at the end of the video. Keep on watching.
Keep on squatching.
We're investigating a big sighting video. We just found a bunch of tracks, and through the trees right here, I saw something huge and brown running through the trees. I don't have time to throw this on a tripod, you guys. Sorry about the shaky camera. I'm having to freehand this because
Can I give you a shoulder?
something. See that shadow right there, or whatever that is, you guys? It ran behind that, and it was like twice as tall. Ran through the trees right there. It was hauling ass. Big and brown. And mind you, it didn't look long. It didn't look like it had the length of a moose or a elk. Alright, Derek and I are gonna head over that direction and check that before it rains.